Hi everyone, my name is Moni,
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
and welcome to another vlog, international version, I guess.
Yep.
If you caught our last vlog, we sort of mentioned that we were going to be going on a big trip that included one part Philippines and another part Japan/Tokyo Game Market. And so now here we are.
We're actually in Japan now.
Yes.
So we didn't really vlog anything about our Philippine side of the trip just because it was basically family based.
Yeah, we meant to.
Yeah, we wanted to.
We meant to, but we ended up having zero time. Like it was a very, very quick trip. We saw a lot of recommendations from people in our comments. I didn't realize how many viewers we had who are in the Philippines, so that was helpful because we were actually able to go to a board game store, two of them actually.
Based off those recommendations,
Yes, based off those recommendations while we were there. And so today we'll just be talking a little bit about our trip, a little bit about the Tokyo Game Market, and then also, I guess May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and about some board games that we like to play to help improve our mood.
By the way, apologies about any of that clanking noise that you might be hearing in the backdrop. Right when we hit record, all of a sudden they just dropped off a bunch of metal pipes of some sort.
There's some hard work going on outside.
Yeah, they're grinding.
People are working hard.
Yeah.
All right, so our Philippines trip was only about a week, a little bit over a week, like a week and a day.
Yep.
And like we were mentioning in our last video, the main reason why we went is because my grandfather celebrated his 90th birthday, and he decided to throw himself this big party.
Yeah.
So it was really lovely because this was Naveen's first time in the Philippines.
First time. We wanted to go in 2020, but with COVID, that plan basically went out the door. So this was kind of a good excuse for a reason to go.
Yes.
90th.
And Naveen was able to meet a lot of family there that he otherwise wouldn't have been able to meet. My mom actually lives in the Philippines and has been living there for a while now. So I never get to see her.
Yep.
So we were able to spend a couple of days with her, which was really nice. And as for the party itself, it was beautiful. My grandfather is the youngest 90-year-old I have ever met.
Very sharp, very mobile.
Like no memory loss whatsoever, very mobile. He's dancing on the dance floor. It's like, he doesn't age.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, you say something once and he is ready to respond right away. Very good.
Yeah, you would never guess. And he is so cute. Look at this. Look at him. Just full of life, right?
Yep.
And then aside from the party, we also spent a couple of days at the beach. For anybody who's familiar with the Philippines, we went to Batangas, which is on the main island that we were at. We didn't have to fly anywhere.
Yeah, it's basically like a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive south, 3-hour with like the stop and go traffic south
Naveen is now
Manila.
familiar with Philippines traffic.
Yes.
The Philippines is like its own world.
There might be 3 lanes, but for some reason they try to make it like there's 4 lanes.
They're actually very impressive drivers,
Very
if you think about it. Like the people when we were being driven around, like they were making some maneuvers that I would not ever dare to attempt back home.
Yeah.
So really high in skill, but also high in fear.
It's it's similar to India. India is very similar to that. And in the sense that in the United States, when you're a honk, it's more like I'm honking at you because you're a jerk or something.
Yes.
Or like you're a problem.
Yeah, you're breaking the law in some way.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But in the Philippines, people really just honk to be like, hey, I'm
here.
But you know, I'm to your left, I'm to your right.
Yes, they use it very liberally. Naveen also got to eat a lot of Filipino food.
I got a lot of Filipino food.
Every day?
Oh, yeah.
Breakfast,
every day.
lunch, and dinner?
Not breakfast so much. Breakfast, we were able to kind of mix it up a little bit.
That's true, because we were actually staying at the hotel where the party was held, and the hotel is actually very nice, like much nicer than what we're used to.
Yeah, that was in Metro Manila, like in a really nice area.
Right. Specifically in Makati. So again, if anybody's familiar, that's an area that has a ton of malls, and like the mall system is like Glorieta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like separate buildings and they're all numbered. And a lot of malls there are like that, but it's beautiful. Like the malls are really, yes, they are very high quality. And it was actually in 2 malls where we visited a couple of board game stores. And they were actually the same store.
Like the same company, just different locations.
Yeah, 2 different locations. It's a store called the Gaming Library. And we were very curious to see just what board gaming stores, I guess, had in stock when we go. And a lot of them are games that we all know and love.
Yep.
So they're the ones that are distributed in Europe and the West in general. Very nice facilities. They actually have like play space there that you can rent, I believe, hourly.
Yeah, it's like a dual store. Like one half is just like your typical board game shop where you can buy games, and then the other is where you can rent out by the hour.
Yeah.
And that's like a nice big space, and it also had like its own library.
Yeah.
You just kind of pull games from.
And the storefront is beautiful. And I was very happy with the fact that these stores were in very popular malls.
Yeah.
Like these are not sort of like niche malls or anything. Like these are malls that people frequent. So that, I guess, to me, it means that they're able to be more exposed.
Location.
Yeah. So all in all, it was really fun. I wish we could go back there more often, but it's not the most inexpensive and easiest place to go to. I believe our flight was like 14 hours long.
Just shy of 15 hours, yeah. Very, very long.
And it was one of the rare direct flights there, so typically you would have to have a stopover. Naveen was able to practice some of his Tagalog, which was fun.
Not very good,
He learned something. I mean, Naveen knew some Tagalog going into the trip.
I know words.
You knew...
And if I pronounce them correctly, then they're different words.
What you do?
Well,
There's no laundry.
I know the word for laundry, which is labahan. So laundry, we definitely need to have that.
Don't you know nose?
Ilong. Yeah, that's one.
What about eat? Time to eat.
Kain na. That's like to eat. Yeah. So these are all like little things that I picked up over the years with Monique.
He knows some pretty random phrases.
Things. Yeah.
But he also learned a very, very important lesson about Tagalog. It's something that I've been trying to tell him, but now I think it's sealed in. And it's that emphasis on the right part of the word. It's really important.
Yeah, if you elongate something or if you shorten something accidentally, it can mean something completely different. One time at the lunch table, I was being quizzed as to what words I knew. And so instead of saying supot, I said supot.
He said supot.
Supot, which is not good.
Yes, so this probably only makes sense if you understand a bit of Tagalog, but I figured for any viewers out there, you might find that entertaining. And finally, probably one of the things that we were looking forward to the most were the fruits.
Yes.
What are your review of the fruits? Okay. Let's leave mangoes for last.
Okay, I was going to say, you've been hyping up mangoes for like 12 years.
Yes, that's true. What fruits were we able to try?
Let's see. I was able to try real dragon fruit for the first time. I know we have it in the States, but I actually don't ever buy it. And I've never actually had it in its real fruit form.
Yeah, same.
I've always had like dragon fruit lemonade or dragon fruit flavored candy, something like that. Yes. So very, very good.
And it's also interesting to see what it tastes like in a different climate, right? Because fruits from different parts of the world will taste different.
I wish I knew what it tasted like in the U.S., like to do a side-by-side comparison, or to have some sort of anchored basis. But all I know is the dragon fruit flavor. It's very good.
Yes.
That is definitely one that I would try to buy in the U.S.
And we had two different kinds.
There's two different kinds.
The regular, I guess.
There's like the red and the white.
The white.
Yeah, the white one is really, really good.
The white one is very, very good.
What else do we have?
We had guava.
Guava, which of course you can get in the States, but it was also delicious there. Very good. Very, very good. Pomelo, which is like their grapefruit over there. I've had that before in the U.S., but equivalent, I would say. Pretty good.
Yeah, and a lot of fruits were not in season, unfortunately. So we actually went to a fruit market. If you've ever played the card game Tindahan, which is based off of the Filipino fruit markets, we went to one and we were looking for fruits such as chico and I'm kind of blanking on the other fruits now.
I wanted real lychee. But could not find it in because we went to this fruit market like the day before we were leaving.
Yes.
So everything would need to sit out for like 3 or 4 days. And if you know anything about international travel, you cannot bring produce across the border.
So we had to eat them all in one day, a day and a half.
A day and a half, yeah.
But fortunately, we were able to eat a ton of mangoes. We ate them pretty much every day. We hunted for them the day that we got there.
Yeah.
And for me, they did not disappoint.
They're very good.
Love Philippine mangoes, and I cannot find anything similar in the U.S. So it's literally something that
you get like a 70% equivalent in the U.S. I would say, right?
They're a bit more thready, like fibrous in the U.S. The ones that you can get there, or if they do ship or import Philippine mangoes, they're very expensive. So Naveen.
Oh yeah, they were very good. So like in the U.S., like all their mangoes, they have like you said, like almost like a
hairy,
a hairy, like fibrous kind of consistency or texture to it. In the Philippines, it's like almost like a thick custardy jello.
Yeah,
like
they're
it has a little more body than that, but very, very good. Smooth.
So smooth. So juicy. It's like it's no fiber at all. It's just juicy, sweet, smooth, delectable deliciousness.
Like non-fibrous. I'm sure there's fiber in it for like your digestive health, but so there's that. But it was very, very good, and like now I have an anchor point to compare U.S. mangoes when I buy them.
They're ruined.
Yeah, so
they're ruined for you.
The U.S. mangoes, they are also like a different, like the shape, like the red green.
Yeah.
Those ones, that's a completely different like variety compared to the Philippine mangoes.
Like you can use those mangoes. Mangoes are a nice versatile fruit. You can use the harder ones for certain things. You can eat them in different ways.
Yeah, I also had a green mango juice over there.
Oh yeah.
So green mango, of course, green mango would be like an unripened mango. So they actually make juice out of that. So if you like that sour tart, mango-y flavor, that is actually a really nice beverage to drink. Unfortunately, I did not have it with ice because you never know at some establishments what the quality of the ice is going to be, because it's one of the it's a nation that you can't truly trust the water, especially if you're coming from the U.S.
Yeah, if you're coming from elsewhere. So we survived it though,
we did,
which I'm so
no tummy
happy
issues
about. We were very, very careful. But that's pretty much it for the Philippines trip. It was very fast. Pretty much after all of that, we left directly to come to Japan because the Tokyo Game Market was held on the 16th and 17th, I believe.
Yep, Saturday, Sunday.
So when we were booking our trip for the Philippines, we didn't know that the Tokyo Game Market was going to be around that time. And that was what kind of springboarded our decision to let's just extend the trip. And we don't know when we'll be back, if ever. And, we really, really wanted to attend another Tokyo Game Market after the first one, after we've learned from our mistakes of the first one.
Yeah, we went 2 years ago, and it's much more improved, I would say, this year, 2 years later. So we only went to the Saturday event, even though it's held for 2 days. What we were told is that Sunday is more RPG focused. There's still board games going on, but just a slightly more emphasis towards RPGs. So we only decided to go for 1 day.
Yeah.
And so we were able to actually get media passes this time.
Yeah. So we arrived on Friday and basically went directly the next day, and we were able to meet up with a few friends. There were a lot of people here who actually knew. So like there are a lot of publishers from the US who were here. It was really nice to see them, and Amy and Maggie from Thinker Themer, as well as Ilya and Tyler from Cabre. We were all able to sort of go together,
hang out,
and we hung out and we played games, and it was kind of bad in a way because we were egging each other on, like, okay, I'm done, I'm not picking up any more games, but what do you have?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
There was definitely a feeling of FOMO because a lot of these games, like they're not going to come to the U.S. or they may never come to the U.S. or they'll be completely reskinned or retooled at that point. In 2023, I would say the rule books were mostly all in Japanese. But for 2025, we have noticed that there is more of an emphasis to try to have some form of English rules where you don't have to just, use Google Translate to try to figure out how to play a game. So that's really, really welcome. Now, I don't know how good these rule books are going to be. I think we picked up some 20 plus games. And so
we picked up quite a few.
Yeah.
We are going to be making a separate video shortly, maybe in a week or so, that'll go over all the games that we picked up and a little bit more in detail about our experience at the Tokyo Game Market. But in general, it was really fun. We only went the 1 day, but it was a jam-packed day. We were much more prepared this time because we were actually able to reserve games this time around. And it's just so exciting to see that, Western publishers are also starting to pick up more games from the Japanese market because these games are so good. It's really fun to find the gems because it's just going to be like, it's very similar to going to Essen and just picking up a bunch of games. Some of them you're not going to like so much, and then some of them are going to be amazing.
Right.
So just finding which ones those are, because some of them are like the ones that you would least expect. And so this time around, we're actually able to speak to some of the publishers a little bit, a tiny bit,
very small amount
about their games. I've been studying Japanese for a little while now, sort of slowly.
Yeah.
And my goal is to be able to come back here and to actually talk to, Japanese publishers about their games and what their plans are and stuff like that. But Naveen has also been practicing some Japanese here.
I'm coached. Hey, go tell him this, and this. What if he responds? That's my biggest fear. What if they respond?
But that's the hardest part. Like, even for people who are learning another language, like actually going up to somebody and saying something is really intimidating.
It is, yeah.
The first time we went to Japan, we were like so dreading having to say anything. But I feel like this time around we've gotten a little bit more confidence.
A little more confident, yeah. There's certain phrases that are pretty applicable, like whenever you go to a store, it's like, oh, where is this thing?
Yeah.
Like, now I can always ask that. Or like, do you have this particular thing that I'm looking for, and I'll have a picture of it. So some tiny little things like that, but there's no way that I could ever, if they ever ask me a question back.
Oh, that's the biggest fear.
The biggest fear. It's like,
what if they actually respond?
Yeah. What if they respond with a long sentence?
Yeah.
That's a big fear.
But despite that, and despite all the coaching, I guess, Naveen has been getting a lot of Nihongo Josu desu ne, which is basically like, your Japanese is really good. And he's like,
that's not good.
What is that mean?
Yeah, it's not good. But they're flattering me, I guess.
So anyway, stay tuned for our Tokyo Game Market recap. We're also going to attempt to play all those games.
By the recap?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
by the recap,
Yeah.
no. We're going to film that before we leave Japan, I think.
Okay.
But in short, really, really good time. Big tip, which is something that we failed to do because we didn't have a choice. If you're ever going to attend Tokyo Game Market, schedule it at the end of your trip.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because we picked up about 24, 25 games.
And we got to lug it across
and
the
are
nation.
In Kyoto now, which will be here for about a week, and then we're going to go back to Tokyo, which means we're bringing all those games with us. So it's not ideal.
It's just how it worked out for us, yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing is May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is going on for the entire month of May. It happens every year, actually, and I don't think we've ever participated in this before, right?
I don't think we've made any mention of it on the channel in the past.
So we figured that, it's a good time to do it.
It's May.
Board games, I know in general, help a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways is with mental health issues. That mental health spans a gamut of issues, right? Mm-hmm. And for some, it can provide a social activity when it's hard to find that.
Yeah, relief from the stress of everyday life.
Yes.
Kind of an escape.
Escape from reality.
And like movies or TV shows.
Occupies your brain, and they're just fun. At the base of it all, board games are a means of fun, right?
Enjoyment, yeah.
Now, personally, I know I've had my own personal journey with mental health issues in the past. It's something that I've come a long way, and it's actually one of the main reasons why we started this channel to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm always needing to sort of do something.
Monique needed a creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a window of time where you were doing stuff that was creative, and then there was maybe 2-year span where you weren't working on anything. And then that's kind of where this channel was born out of.
Yes.
So,
it's a lot more complicated than that, obviously. And this is not a cure, but it's definitely therapeutic in a lot of ways. And so are board games. So today we just wanted to sort of share 5 different types of board games. They're not necessarily specific titles that have helped me in the past, or just what I gravitate towards in general.
Yeah, to boost the mood.
Yeah, in need of an escape. And then I'll follow it up with a couple of video game titles, because I also love to play
the
games.
Switch. Yeah, you play the Nintendo Switch a lot.
Super therapeutic.
A lot of the indie games.
The cozy games.
Those.
I know a lot of people would probably relate to that. All right, first things first, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, is solo gaming. So this is something that I just got into fairly recently. This is not something I've always been doing.
Yeah.
And more solo games are coming out. There's one specifically that I played sometime last year called A Gentle Rain. That was very therapeutic, especially for anxiety. And I believe it was created with that goal in mind.
Yeah, it's like a puzzly, flip and lay kind of game where we have a playthrough, I believe, on the channel.
Yes.
Where I think you're just trying to optimize kind of where you're playing flowers.
Your flowers on that pond.
Yeah.
It's a nice, very therapeutic setting, and it's just a puzzly activity that you can do. So puzzles tend to help me a lot. There are other games that are coming out that are specifically for stress relief. I believe there was one called
Finding Calm. I think it's called Finding Calm. We have it. We haven't played it yet.
We haven't played it yet. So
but that's probably something in
say anything about it. But just know that there are more and more games coming out for this reason.
Yeah, I think for you, the solo experience, you like a nice little 30-minute experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like them to be sprawling because I do prefer the social aspect of board gaming. That's me personally. But I do like the puzzly stuff because just my brain sort of locking onto something and not having to think about anything else is very therapeutic. Which brings me to my number 2, which are puzzly games, so polyomino tile games. In the past, games such as Patchwork, although Patchwork is very very competitive.
It is competitive, yeah.
I was going to say one of the first rules is I try to avoid games that are too overly competitive because sometimes they can make you feel worse.
They kind of give you that stress. They kind of increase that gamer anxiety that I talk about in games.
Yeah.
So you're talking about more the casual, just tiling style games.
Yeah, so Uwe Rosenberg has a whole line of these. I could pretty much recommend any of them from that line because you can play them. I believe a lot of them have solo modes, but you can play them 2-player and they're great.
Yeah.
Other games are like Baron Park. There are a ton of games in this polyomino tiling line, and I'm sure more and more will come out because it is a big genre of games. And similar to polyomino tile laying, another sort of puzzly genre that I really enjoy are roll and writes.
Yeah, roll and writes, flip and writes.
Yeah, that's probably my number 3. These can be played socially or solo. There are a lot of solo out there.
One of my favorite ones for this particular reason is actually Welcome To. I know a lot of people maybe are kind of tired of that game. But I personally like that one a lot. It's just optimizing your neighborhood. You know, you flip a card, you have one of 3 choices.
Yeah.
And you're just basically trying to build out a neighborhood. And there's public objectives. It's not too competitive. It's kind of like, oh, this is what I did at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just tally up the score. I don't feel any aggression in that particular one. And I really like that.
Similar to how Naveen never gets tired of Welcome To, I never get tired of Railroad Inc. That is like one of my prime roll and writes that I tend to recommend.
It's funny because I do feel a little bit of stress in that one. Just
do?
Not in like it doesn't bother me or anything like that.
So I can see what you mean. Like you have to draw all of these tracks.
There's you roll the 4 dice and then it's 4 dice, right?
No.
How many dice do you have to draw? Oh, 6 dice in a turn, right?
I think so.
And then
I'm forgetting now.
And like you have to keep track of like, have I used that die? Okay, I have, and I need to get this track to connect. Oh no, I created a dead end. So for me, that one is not the most relaxing or calming, but it's still a very, very nice game.
And now that I think about it, I think it is 4.
Yeah.
But that is one of my favorite roll and writes. But roll and writes in general sort of fit this genre for me. They're so easy to get out. They're easy to bring with you. And it's just something that you can like in an instant. If your mental health sort of your mood changes in an instant, you can just decide to pick one of these up and play. Now, like I was mentioning, I tend to enjoy more social experiences because those tend to make me feel better. And so the next category of games for me would be mystery games.
Yeah.
So things where we can work together and just
cooperatively solve.
Figure this out.
Yeah.
Like that's a true escape for me.
Yeah, one of our favorites is the line of Unlocked games, which is from Space Cowboys. Those are like those. You have like 60-minute timer, so there is a little bit of stress with the timer, but you are using.
Or don't play with the timer.
Yeah, you can.
It stresses you out.
You're using like a deck of cards that is basically like an escape room, and so you're trying to solve clues. You're trying to figure out like what is the story that you're unfolding, and also trying to solve this entire box.
Yeah, those are so fun. We basically divide half the deck, and a lot of the cards are like you need to find card number 23. And so we're both looking through our decks looking for card number 23 and like, how do we combine these objects together? And there are a lot of puzzles within the cards.
Yeah, so it's like something like that you might have discovered early on in the game won't show up until about the halfway point of the game. You're like, we need a key. Oh, we found a key 20 minutes ago when we were thumbing through this deck. So we like doing escape rooms in person, and so that does a pretty good job in board game kind of form.
Yeah, I think so.
Recreating that, and like you truly are just escape from reality for that time, that window of time while you're playing.
And it follows a theme. There's always some silly story that you're trying to get to the end of.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that series. There's another one that's really popular. Called the Exit series.
Yeah, that's from the Cosmos.
We've been working through the Advent calendar for quite some time.
Yeah, I think we're like on a wrong calendar year right now. I think we're like on the 2023 one.
But those ones are a little bit more difficult and a little bit more conceptual, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, they're just like, it's like an Advent calendar for that one, like where you just do like 1 or 2 little puzzles a day.
Yeah, but in general, the Exit series, I guess, because they also have
us
individual boxes. If you're not really into escape style games, there are also true mystery, like narrative style. I know Detective is one that I really enjoyed in the past. It's a bit too much reading for Naveen.
Yeah, there's a lot of passage and like reading of like the backstory and stuff like that.
But it's really cool setting. And if you don't mind the reading, it's really immersive. And for people who are on the opposite sides of the spectrum, like Naveen over here, who doesn't want to do the reading, then one that we sort of started playing last year is a game called Perspectives. There are now 2 different versions of the game, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's a tiny bit of reading, but really you divvy out cards to everybody around the table, and you cannot show each other your cards. So you're basically solving a case. And you have to describe what are on your cards to see how you can piece them all together as pieces of evidence. So it's really cool.
We've only played it 3 players, and basically like you are solving one of 3 cases, and I think they don't link together, right? From what my understanding.
So the 3 main cases have like 3 parts to them.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah,
those do link.
Those link. Yeah. So you're basically, you have evidence from your perspective. That's why the game is called Perspective. And you have to communicate that with all your teammates because sometimes you're going to have a blend of evidence that you need to work together to figure out how exactly, something comes together.
As an example, I might have one of the character's driver's licenses and maybe Naveen has a different character's driver's license. And we're trying to figure out like, which character is this the person who it was referencing
right,
through the door?
Right.
And, like, you kind of have to figure it out by just deducing things from your images.
Yeah, at the end of the I guess like the volume or the case, you have to answer a certain amount of questions, and depending on how you answer is kind of how you score and how you do.
So mystery games, that is the fourth sort of category on our list, and the final one, sort of similarly in the same line as the mystery games, is just in general cooperative games. I know a lot of people don't really like co-op games. Naveen loves them.
I do, yeah.
I think you're a rare breed in that sense. But I really enjoy them as a mood pick-me-up because we can really work together.
Yeah, you're not competing against each other.
You're competing against each other.
The game, so it's like we're both suffering, this misery of like trying to solve this this puzzle of this game.
Right, and the thing is, my favorite co-op games are the legacies. I really love legacy-style games, which are basically games that change. It's the same game that you play several times, but it's typically following a story, and things change every time you play.
Yeah.
So similar games in the genre are Pandemic Legacies. It's probably the most famous of all of them.
Cooperative legacy style game, that one for sure.
I love that one. Even just campaign style games, so it doesn't have to be legacy games. So one campaign game that I would love to play through in its entirety, which I probably might try to, is Kinfire Chronicles Night's Fall. So that is something
highly recommended for us
together. Because it has a story, you sort of follow it, and then there's like battle scenes where we actually have to play out and strategically work together.
We've covered the game on the channel, but more in like informative, like this is kind of like what the game is about, but we never got to deep dive and actually play through the entire campaign. That would be nice to be able to do it because we did enjoy our times with it.
Yeah, and that truly sort of drops you off into this world. And the art is usually they're really spectacular art typically in these types of games. Wandering Galaxy was another one. Freelancers, which had really, really beautiful art. So those types of games are a really nice escape. And just even smaller co-op card games like The Game.
Oh, yeah.
Just ending the night with The Game is very therapeutic. So anyway, those are 5 different categories of board games that I enjoy playing, specifically when I'm in a rut. Naveen is very, very supportive, so also having a good support system is probably key. I'm very fortunate in that sense. And Naveen has always had mental health that people would only dream of.
I just walk around aloof.
He really has like solid gold mental health, which is really nice. If you have any recommendations for games that you like to play when you are sort of in need, then please leave a comment down below. Who knows, it could help other people. Oh, and before we forget, some Switch games.
Oh, yeah.
So there are 3 Switch games. I don't think they're all necessarily only on the Switch. These are video games that you can probably find on Steam or just on any other platforms. But I love Spiritfarer. This is a game that...
I have not played any of these, by the way.
Yeah, no. This is a really, really beautiful game about bringing... Oh, I actually don't even want to say what it's about because it's just play it.
Spiritfarer.
Although if you're experiencing grief from loss, then you may want to reconsider whether or not, depending on where you are.
Title.
Yeah, not this particular title.
Depending on what stage of grief.
Yes, depending on what stage of grief. If you feel like you're open to it, then highly recommend it. It's like one of the most transformative video games I've ever played.
So it's Spiritfarer? How do you say Farer?
F-A-R-E-R.
Like a fair.
Like somebody who ferries.
Ferry. Okay, fair.
Yes, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
For shorter games, a short hike. It's just like a 4-hour game, but it's just the music, it's very cozy. It's technically open world, but it's a very small world, and just about this bird who's on a short hike.
A short hike? Okay.
Yes, really beautiful. And the third one is a game called Gris, Gris. I believe it's gray.
In Spanish?
No. Oh, yeah, I guess it is in Spanish, but I'm not sure what the origin of this video game is. But I believe the actual backstory of this is a girl who is going through a mental health struggle.
The backstory of that game.
Of the actual game.
Not who created it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual game
the
itself.
journey of getting out of the...
Yeah, but it's very conceptual. It's really beautiful. And it's technically a side scroller, or like a platformer, sorry. But it's kind of linear. So it's not like you'll be stuck forever on a level or something.
Okay.
So those 3, highly recommend.
So Gris, Gris.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and P-Cross.
If you're a math...
So random.
If you're a fan of math puzzle games,
Sudoku
like a Sudoku style game, P-Cross is one that Monique loves to do.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with all things P-Cross. So there you go. So that about wraps up today's vlog. It is getting quite warm in this room.
It is. The
So
AC's off.
we're going to head out. We'll see you back again soon with our Tokyo Game Market video. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
And then we have some more playthroughs coming soon as well.
Yep. Thank you all so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.